So can you give us a quick overview of the effect that you just presented to the judges?
Oh, well, my effect is actually, since I'm an adult learner and I went back and it was a little bit intimidating to even think about going to school at my age. For some reason, I thought you all were like super scary. I wanted to kind of do a marketing effect that Isothermal could potentially use to just have targeted for local areas that would put the idea in other people's heads too.
Yeah, sure. So I decided to reinvent the pain scale. If you've ever been to a doctor's office, especially if you've broken something, you are very familiar with the little clipboard they give you where you have to write down your pain on a scale of 1 to 10 and maybe circle some body parts to describe where they are. It can be a bit, cumbersome to try to do that, especially if you're in level 10 pain where you can barely think. So my idea was to make it simpler, just at a click of a button.
Yes, so I created 5 gradient backgrounds, a tap to touch or a touch to change instruction for the screen tap interaction with a person segmentation mask in the foreground.
The effect was a 3D object, which was a music box that, when tapped, would play a short tune and then launch a spring at the viewer's device, creating a screen shatter effect, making it look like their screen was broken.
Effectively, it's for marketing, for increasing student engagement. You have a graduation cap and the Patriot hat with the Isothermal logo on the side.
Today I showed the judges a face filter mask that I made with a separate software and then downloaded into Metaspark.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind me asking, what software did you make the mask in?
I drew it in Ibis Paint, which is a free software that I was allowed to use for an hour.
I made a game with Garfield where he jumps higher and higher on plates of lasagna.
So the effect I presented was like a 2D, it was kind of like a game. It's a music maker and there's different objects in it. It's like a little scene and each object has a different noise or a different music. Some noises are just like that, they're like beats, and other noises are like longer, like 9-second musics played on loop. So basically it's like you tap different things, you overlay them over each other, and you can make your own little music track.
Yeah, it was just a face wrap, and it looks kind of like it looks like to me a version of Mike Myers.
So did your understanding of AR or your ideas about using it change during the course of this class?
Yes.
How so?
I guess I realized the scope of it. I hadn't quite understood how encompassing it is.
It gave me some new ideas on how it could be marketable and what fields it could apply to.
A lot. They changed a whole lot. I barely knew what augmented reality was outside of the funny Snapchat filters that my friends like to use. And I don't use social media, so you can imagine how limited my knowledge was.
Well, so now that the closing event is over and you've presented yourself to the judges, is there anything that you wish that you'd have known earlier on in this process that would have helped you along the way?
JavaScript.
Okay. That was a useful skill to pick up on?
And yeah, and I'm really interested to learn more about the logic and
Definitely how many YouTube videos there are on the software itself.
I found the whole process really stressful initially. Like, maybe I had to already know a whole lot about computers to even start. Even though it said beginner friendly, I just didn't trust it. Now I wish I could tell myself it's not that serious, just relax about it.
In what ways do you envision applying these skills in either your academic or professional journey moving forward?
For my academic journey, I might try and do another class that's similar to this one in the future, maybe to do with like something to do with 3D modeling. That way I can make more models to like use for the Spark AR, because there's a wide library, but if I want to get more creative with it, I can use my own stuff. And professionally, I might want to make effects of my own, and this can be used in multiple places anywhere, so I would love to do something to do with that.
So I'm not really sure on that. Specific to the Metaspark platform, you can make ads and sell them to companies, but there's not really a monetization there.
Okay, so I plan to become a game developer, and AR effects really help me get used to working with 3D models and setting up conditions around those.
Well, how do the augmented reality skills that you've acquired working in this program align with your career goals?
Fairly well. Before I started at ICC, I had experience in graphic design and in IT. So this is kind of the nice mixture of both.
My career goals, I have two options I'm looking at. One is something that's more like freelance, maybe graphic design, maybe art, something to do with those lines. So here, having a program that I can use and memorize and show that I can learn a program, and especially a program that I can apply art skills to. I did some programming before with this school club, so I was able to apply both of those.
So I'm hoping to own my own business one day. So it could help me get more customers in by creating interactive ads for people on their phone and stuff like that.
I can definitely see it for marketing, especially because, well, I live in Tryon, so it's even more of like a rural area. So when you see something online that you recognize, even from a small business, it makes a really big impression. So I can definitely see doing something like that. And my whole part of the reason why I'm here is because my town is so small and so isolated, and I see these small businesses open up all the time. And a lot of them are owned by women and other minorities, and the whole community is already underserved. And these people, unless you drive by and notice the shop is there, you wouldn't know that they are there. And then 6 months go by, and then one day they're just out of business. And if these people had the tools to get an online presence, because some of these are really niche stores, like knitting stores and stuff like that, where there's not other things around here to really compete with, and people would drive to check them out. But if I could just do that on the side, maybe work with the town so that the owners would pay a reduced rate or something like that, I think it would really help the town a lot. And I can definitely see that with AR filters too.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about your experience?
This is definitely a class I would recommend people taking if it's something that they want to use one day, which everybody should probably need it.
It was definitely a lot more rewarding than what I think I initially thought it was going to be. So that was cool.
I actually had more of a good time than I thought it was.
Just thought it was really fun, and I've had a good time.
Every day is a learning experience if you let it be, and y'all taught me something new. I mean, so I'm thankful for that.